In 2025, motorsports not only gave us one story, but three stories. One was about dominance, the other was about pure chaos, and the other was the start of a new era. Today, we're going to talk about the finales of the 2025 NASCAR, INDYCAR, and Formula One season, so strap in. You're listening to On Track with Noe. And we're back. Hey, it's Noe here with On Track with Noe, and super excited to be back and talk about racing. It's been a while, but I'm excited. It's been a great end to the motorsports season. I can't believe it, but hey, motorsports will be back very soon. Today we're going to talk about the NASCAR season, the INDYCAR season, and the Formula One season. We're going to talk about the end of those seasons and talk about the champions and all that. But I do want to start off with INDYCAR since they ended their season first. It's hard to believe that INDYCAR finished their season back at the end of August, Labor Day weekend, and we haven't had a race since, and we still have a long way to go until the first race in St. Petersburg. But nonetheless, it was a great INDYCAR season. It was dominated really by one driver, but there was a lot of great moments. INDYCAR always puts on a great show, and the season finale, which I got to go to in person, was amazing. The racing there at INDYCAR Oval Racing is some of the best racing in the world, and if you have never gone to an INDYCAR Oval race, make sure that is on your list for 2026. But like I said, Alex Palou dominated the entire season. He won 8 races in 2025 and won the championship with, I believe, 2 or 3 races to go. So we pretty much knew towards the beginning of the season that it was Alex Palou's championship to lose. But I do want to share some statistics about Alex Palou's season, which is really incredible. So Alex Palou, he won his 4th career championship. So he won the INDYCAR championship in 2021, 2023, 2024, and 2025. So he has won 4 of the last 5 championships. But what was also significant is that he has won now 3 championships in a row. So he is going into very rare territory, and he could make it 4 INDYCAR championships in a row in 2026. And my feeling is, until you show me someone who can beat Alex Palou is the favorite to win the 2026 INDYCAR championship. He and his Chip Ganassi team have been on it for many years now, and it's just so cool to see dominance. And I have a much more appreciation for that, and you'll hear why when we talk about the NASCAR finale here in a moment. But some more facts about Alex Palou's championship season. So again, it was his 3rd one, and he clinched it earlier, but he also this year finally won the Indianapolis 500. That really was the only race that Alex Palou had not won, and he hadn't won on an oval. So in 2025, Alex Palou finally got his Indy 500 championship, or his Indy 500 race win, pretty much like a championship. I mean, all the drivers, all the teams, they treat it as a championship with all the preparation that goes on in the month of May and all that. And Alex Palou became the first driver since 2010 to win both the Indy 500 and the INDYCAR championship in the same season. So the last time that happened was with Dario Franchitti, and ironically enough, he was driving the number 10 car also for Chip Ganassi Racing. So something about that number 10 car is just pretty incredible. But Alex Palou, and I like one of the Fox announcers for INDYCAR says this about Alex Palou, and I really love it. He calls him the professor of precision. And that really is Alex Palou's driving style. You rarely ever see him make a mistake. I think the only mistake I saw him make the entire season was when he gave a win away to his teammate, Scott Dixon, at Mid-Ohio, when he overdrove one of the turns and then Scott Dixon came and passed him. That really right there moment showed me that, wow, Alex Palou really is human. But all jokes aside, I mean, Alex Palou just drives incredible. He drives very smooth. All of his moves are very calculated. I would dare say that Alex Palou probably is one of, if not the best driver right now in the world. I mean, just the dominance he's on how rare he makes mistakes. I mean, it doesn't happen often. Alex Palou, I mean, when we look back at the history books in 10, 15, 20 years into the future, we're going to look back at this time and be like, wow, we're going to appreciate what Alex Palou did so much. And I know it can get frustrating sometimes if your favorite driver isn't Alex Palou to see him win a lot. But I think about when I was growing up, Jimmy Johnson won a lot of races. He won 5 championships in a row. Man, we were tired of seeing Jimmy win all the time. And now that his season, or now that his career is nearing the end, at least his full-time career is over, it's so cool to look back at Jimmy Johnson's accomplishments and just be in awe of appreciation. And it's really cool to be able to say, yeah, I got to witness all that, got to see all that. So Alex Palou, man, congratulations. Incredible season. Cannot wait to see what he does in 2026. And I'll just add this. Alex Palou is one of the nicest human beings ever. Like, when we were in Nashville, I got to see him, but also got to just kind of step back and see how he interacted with the fans and everybody who wanted to take a picture with him. Man, he was so happy. He signed everything. He's just a really down-to-earth guy. And so Alex Palou is a great representative for INDYCAR, for the Indy 500, and excited to see what he's going to do in 2026. Maybe some other drivers will come and give him a challenge for the championship. Maybe make it a lot closer and have it come down to the final race. But again, congratulations to Alex Palou. So INDYCAR showed us what happens when everything goes right. And now we're going to go to a series where it seems like everything went haywire. Everything went on crazy mode times 10. And that is the NASCAR Championship. Now, NASCAR is very different than INDYCAR or Formula One because NASCAR has playoffs. And there's this ongoing debate on whether playoffs should be in racing. And to give you a little backstory, in 2004, NASCAR changed the point system on how they crowned a champion. Instead of a full season format, they went to a playoff format. It wasn't the same format that is today, but it was a kind of a different version of it. Basically, you'd have 10 races and then you have 10 drivers, and whoever has the most points out of those 10 drivers is your champion. Well, it's evolved over the years, and now it's truly a knockout playoff system where you have 16 drivers. If you win, you go on to the next round automatically until you get to the final race where you have 4 drivers all on equal ground. First driver to the finish line is your champion. And at first, I'll be honest, I really enjoyed it. It brought a lot of drama. That first year, Ryan Newman almost won the championship over Kevin Harvick, and Ryan Newman had not won a race all season. And I was very entertained by it. But I think that entertainment, or that just kind of newness of it, kind of really faded after that first year. And this year, I think, was just a nail in the coffin for the NASCAR playoffs. And I have heard that they're going to change it. I think NASCAR has confirmed that they are going to change the points and championship format for 2026. And I'm glad. I mean, anything is better than what we have. Because here's the thing. So this year we had 4 drivers going for the NASCAR Cup Series championship. We had Kyle Larson, we had Denny Hamlin, and we had William Byron. And I can't remember the other one. It's been so long now. But anyway, Denny Hamlin he was the odds-on favorite. I mean, all the headlines were around Denny Hamlin. Is he finally going to get that elusive championship? I mean, he's been in the sport since 2006, and he's come so close to winning it. He almost won it in 2010, 2014. I mean, he's come so close to winning it. And so, to be honest, I was pulling for Denny Hamlin to win the NASCAR Cup Championship this year. I really have grown to admire Denny Hamlin. I mean, he is such an advocate for the sport. If you have not listened to his podcast, Actions Detrimental, he does it literally after every single race. And he just shares his feelings. He'll share just what's going on. And he's such an advocate for the sport. And NASCAR is so lucky to have Denny Hamlin in their sport. And I'm excited to see him race again in 2026. I know there was some doubts as to whether or not he would race. We'll talk about that in a moment, but Denny Hamlin has become one of my favorite drivers in the NASCAR Cup Series season. But it seemed like this NASCAR Championship weekend was doomed from the start. You had drivers that had dominated seasons in the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, and you had in the Truck Series, that was really kind of the only perfect race of the whole championship weekend right there. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this, but um, I do want to talk about it to kind of help make my point about the NASCAR Cup Series Championship. So Corey Heim won the NASCAR Truck Series Championship, and he had a dominant season. 10 wins. I mean, if anybody else had won it, it would have been, I mean, that would have not been good. And so happy to see Corey Heim win. So, but then the next day was the Xfinity Series Championship, and Connor Zilisch, who had 10 wins in the season. This is a rookie, by the way, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do next season in the NASCAR Cup Series. But Connor Zilisch, he had 10 wins. He had been so much better than all the drivers, and he didn't win the championship. Jesse Love, who had 2 wins, by the way, congratulations to Jesse. I mean, he performed when it mattered. He won the races that mattered. And so, what I'm going to say, I don't blame the drivers. They played according to the rules, but the system is messed up. And I don't know, a driver who won one race during the whole season and then won the final race after kind of not being there for most of the season like Connor Zilisch was, it kind of left a really sour taste in my mouth. And of course, I am a Junior Motorsports fan. Dale Jr. was my favorite driver growing up. But besides the fact, seeing a driver who has 10 wins lose the championship to someone who only had 2 wins, that didn't seem fair. Connor Zilisch, if this would have been like a point system like INDYCAR F1, Connor Zilisch would have won the championship easily with many races to go. But instead, he just took home Rookie of the Year as a consolation prize. So then we get to the next day, which is the Cup Series Championship. And like I said, Denny Hamlin had all the headlines. It was going to be his day. And he dominated that race. He had his best race at Phoenix that he had had in many years. And he was leading the race with less than 5 to go, 4 to go, 3 to go. And the caution came out. And it came down to a pit call. And I don't know whether that pit call that Denny Hamlin's team made was right or wrong. They put 4 tires. I think they assumed that they were going to be able to do what Corey Heim did on Friday and go and pass a million cars and get up back to the front. But I don't know. You pit from the lead. I don't know if that was the right call. But in any case, Kyle Larson only gets 2 tires. He restarts in front of Denny Hamlin. Kyle Larson uses the traffic to get ahead and sneak out. He almost won the race. The race was actually a photo finish. Ryan Blaney won the race. What's funny is that NBC took 30 minutes to interview the winner. But Kyle Larson beat Denny Hamlin. And man, you could tell just how much that meant to Denny, that championship. I mean, and I could get on a whole rant about NASCAR overtime. I'm not a fan of NASCAR overtime. I believe that when the race should end at the scheduled distance. If it ends under caution, it ends under caution. You know, that's just me. Maybe that's just the old school fan in me. But it was just hard to see Denny Hamlin after the race. And man, you have to feel for Denny Hamlin. He was so close to realizing his lifelong dream, and it got snatched away. Now, I know people will say that under other formats, Kyle Larson would have won the championship. But I don't know. It just left a sour taste. I mean, think about how messed up your championship format is when your champion is apologizing for winning the championship. I mean, he did that. He's like, man, I'm sorry that Denny didn't get it done. I hated to see that. Your champion should not be saying that. But in any case, Kyle Larson won his second NASCAR Cup Series championship. And super excited for him. I mean, it didn't look like he was going to do that earlier in the season. And to be honest, he hasn't won a race since early May. And you think about how his May went. He did the double, the Indy 500 and the Coke 600, and that was a train wreck again in itself. It rained at Indy. He crashed at Indy. He got to Charlotte. He actually made the start this time, but of the Coca-Cola 600, but he crashed in the 600. So it was just a unforgettable, or really a forgettable day for Kyle Larson. And then he didn't win. He didn't even win the last race of the season to be crowned champion. NASCAR championship, it left a bitter taste in my mouth. But we did have one more series that I've watched a lot of, and I'm actually wearing it right now, is Formula One. McLaren won the Constructors' Championship, but most importantly, McLaren got the Drivers' Championship with Lando Norris in Formula One. And a big congratulations to Lando. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Lando fan, but I do pull for him in McLaren, of course, because I do pull for McLaren in IndyCar. And I'll tell you what, Lando and McLaren, they made the season more dramatic than it needed to be. Lando should have won this championship with many races to go, with 2 or 3 races to go. But McLaren had to McLaren, and it is what it is. But Lando had such a good season, though. He won, I believe, 7 races. And after Mexico and Brazil, I mean, it was pretty much assumed that it was going to be an easy ride for Lando to win the championship. And so much so that I actually ended up getting this Lando Norris mini helmet, because I was like, I'd love to have a champion of the or a helmet of the champion in Formula One. And McLaren and their Las Vegas debacle with them getting disqualified. You think about it, Lando hadn't done really good at Las Vegas. McLaren had never been really good at Las Vegas. And then they show up, Lando's on the pole. Hey, Lando finished second. That was good enough. He had, I believe, 44, 49, somewhere around there, points over Max Verstappen. It was pretty much finish on the podium in Qatar, and that's it, or in the sprint. But McLaren, they put the car too low, got disqualified, and that's what made it exciting again. And then, of course, Oscar Piastri had a great shot at the championship also. I love both of the McLaren drivers. I love Oscar. He really reminds me a lot of Alex Palou as far as him never getting really animated on the radio, staying calm, cool, and collected. And Oscar Piastri will be a Formula One champion one day. I do believe that. But this was Lando's year. And, man, there was a lot of controversy on what McLaren would do. And would they ask Oscar to step aside? And I believe that was going to be the call if that needed to happen. And of course, where in the world did Max Verstappen come from? I mean, that Red Bull was a piece of trash at the beginning of the season. But hey, props to Red Bull. They worked on the car throughout the entire season, and Max was there. And it all came down to Abu Dhabi. You had a 3-horse race for the championship, and it was very nerve-wracking, but it was really exciting. That race, I think the funniest part of that race was Yuki supposedly was going to help out Max, and ended up blocking at the wrong time and got himself a penalty. And I love hearing the radio from Yuki and all that. But in the end, after all that, after the season, it came down to really one of the closest margins in Formula One history, 2 points. 2 points was the difference between Lando Norris getting his first Formula One championship and Max Verstappen getting 5 in a row, tying Michael Schumacher. Like, 2 points. Like, you think about anywhere in the season, and yes, people will look at it and if Max hadn't lost his head here, or if Lando hadn't if they hadn't switched places in Monza and Lando passes Piastri, then in any case, there's a million things that could have happened throughout the season where those 2 points could have swung one way or the other. But in the end, Lando got the championship, and I'm glad he did. Lando has been very loyal to McLaren, even though McLaren sometimes let him down. But hey, it is what it is. But Lando has been very loyal to McLaren, and it's so good to see him win a championship. And I know his fans are very happy. I know it's good for Formula One to have a new first-time champion. And so, again, congratulations to McLaren, not only on winning the Constructors' Championship, but also winning the Drivers' Championships. Congratulations to Lando Norris. It'll be interesting to see what McLaren do in 2026. I believe they put all their eggs in the basket for 2025, and so it'll be interesting to see how they fare in 2026 and see if there's some new contenders. Maybe Mercedes is back on top, or Ferrari. Man, Ferrari had a brutal season this year. Poor Lewis. I mean, it can only go up from here, right? But overall, I mean, this was such a great racing season, and I'm already counting down the days until the first racing begins in the year. I believe there'll be some preseason testing for Formula One in January. the first weekend in February, we'll have the Clash for NASCAR to kick off their season. And INDYCAR will begin at the beginning of March also. So it won't be long. Racing will be back, and we'll have a new season, and 3 new stories will begin to be written. So it's going to be really cool. But yeah, those are our 3 championships. I wanted to do a fun little episode about this, talk about each of them and everything. But I'd love for you to let me know, which of these 3 championships did you follow more closely? Which of these drivers were you excited? Which of these 3 championships had you on the edge? Let me know in the comments. You can follow me on X, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Track with Noe. That's the tag right there, and let me know. And champions. Wow, it was a great season, fun season. Already counting down days to the next race season where new stories will be written. So I'm excited. It's going to be great. But until next time, we'll see you on another episode for On Track with Noe.